Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, Fidelity Digital Asset Services, or FDAS, is now engaged in a full rollout of its custody and trading services, expanding from the limited trial users in the platform's final test stage, according to a Financial Times interview. The business had initially been expected to open in the first quarter of 2019. In an interview with Fidelity Investments CEO Abigail Johnson, the Financial Times said, and I do quote, "Fidelity started adding clients in the first quarter and is now engaged in a full rollout of its custody and trading services for digital assets, a boon to what is a fragmented and complicated industry." Mrs. Johnson told the Financial Times in a rare interview, in quote, "CoinDesk reported in February that Fidelity's crypto custody and trading services platform was being tested by a limited number of clients, including hedge funds, family offices, and financial advisors. The $2.8 trillion asset manager is $2.8 trillion, my goodness, is one of the first established traditional financial institutions to offer digital asset custody services as other peers are still waiting to see how the crypto industry comes into formation." Still no indication. I mean, maybe I should just check out the website. I'm afraid it's one of those situations where, like, you have to sign up to be able to see what they offer. Because I've never seen a full list of the exact coins that the Fidelity Digital Assets custody service is actually offering to their clients. The main point being, we had news, even says it right here, this is 15th October 2018, that Fidelity was going to be launching a cryptocurrency trading platform. It was expected by the end of last year that they would have started with their custody solution, and that by the beginning of this year, that is to say around February, March, they would have had their cryptocurrency trading platform. And this is why, for those of you who remember, there was a huge amount of hype at the end of last year that markets were going to go back up, because everyone was like, everything is going to be launching. This is also around the same exact time where we had news that Bakkt was going to have fully launched by the end of last year. Of course, none of that actually ended up going to plan, thanks to the letter companies. The point being, they finally done it. However, I've read, I want to say conflicting articles, if you kind of want to say that. This article states that they have done or are now engaged in a full rollout. I've seen a couple of other websites stating that Fidelity apparently has fully launched, but only for institutional investors, or rather, anyone who has a significant amount of money. Doesn't necessarily have to be millions, but apparently if you're trying to lock up a huge amount, and that they're going to be doing a full rollout for everyone relatively soon as well. But this one, the way that this one reads at least, is that it is now open to everyone. The second part of it still being, the second and third part, fourth part, Fidelity is supposed to also be launching a cryptocurrency trading desk. We have not heard anything about this year. We heard about it the end of last year, but I guess it took them a very long time to get all the paperwork done. Who knows what it could be? The third part of that entire equation is we still have not heard a word, zero, from the NASDAQ as to exactly what they're planning on doing within the cryptocurrency space. They announced last year as well that they were going to have a cryptocurrency trading platform, desk, security, office, something, so and so, whatever they decided to name it. We haven't heard anything from them. I'm not sure if they've pulled out of it, pulled back, don't care about it, if they've been trying to remain as hush as possible while they get all the paperwork in order. And the fourth part of that would be Bakkt was apparently also supposed to have the rollout by summertime of the buying and selling of crypto platform. Like not the number 5 would be their cryptocurrency trading platform, which we've also not heard about. But the fourth part was the actual being able to buy stuff in Starbucks or in Nordstrom or in this store or in that store. It's taken a while. It should not have taken this long. If the previous news that we've gotten about everything else has been any indication, is pretty much that governments take a long time, especially with the fear of what's happening within the cryptocurrency space. They might be more wary of announcing or pushing anything forward because of what's happened and with Libra, etc., etc. Anyway, Fidelity appears to finally be completely open. It's taken a long time. Hopefully the next step that we hear about within the next couple of weeks, they should, I mean, logically, they should have been working on this. This was an entire year ago. They should have been working on their cryptocurrency trading platform. Hopefully it's rolling out relatively soon. Hopefully the people from Bakkt also announced their cryptocurrency trading platform, which I think I was more excited for than the actual Bitcoin futures when they first announced it, because it was more like the New York Stock Exchange is going to be a trading platform for cryptocurrencies. Like, I think more money would be moved around on a trading platform, like something similar to, well, exactly what Coinbase and Binance have. The point being, Fidelity has launched, and without further ado, let's move on. Next up, Binance US, the United States-focused wing of major cryptocurrency exchange Binance, announced that its customers' dollar deposits are eligible for Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or FDIC insurance. If you've ever gone into a bank in the States, it has it listed everywhere. There's something called FDIC insurance, and it's pretty much if you lose your money, you can get your money back. In a blog post on the 18th of October, Binance US announced that the exchange holds its US dollar deposits in pooled custodial accounts at different banks that are insured by the FDIC, which is a United States government agency designed to protect consumers and the US financial system. Binance US explained, and I do quote, "The pooled custodial accounts are maintained in a manner that provides access to pass-through FDIC insurance coverage up to the depositor coverage limit, which is currently $250,000. FDIC insurance coverage protects depositors against the risk of loss in the event that an FDIC-insured bank fails." Cool. How do I say this? It's kind of, first of all, that's wonderful. If anyone is into cryptocurrency or has their money in a bank, or should something go faulty, you have a way to get your money back. We haven't really heard, interestingly enough, an enormous amount of news about Binance US since their launch. It was kind of a very big lead up to it. I think this seems to happen a lot within the cryptocurrency space. I think that we get, I don't want to use the word hyped. We get excited for things that are going to launch relatively soon, and then they end up launching. But I feel like a lot of it has to do with marketing. I feel like a lot of things don't really explode like many people within the cryptocurrency space kind of expect them to. Anyway, the point being, I think this may, my opinion, just be maybe another way to kind of make sure that people understand that they are or could be okay using the platform, that it's simply still Binance, but just Binance US, and they fall under the US's rules. Besides that, I mean, cool. A lot of these cryptocurrency exchanges have also had to get banking licenses, so I guess this kind of ties into the entire, you can handle people's monies, but you have to, I think that's a saying actually. I said monies before and I stopped myself, but I've read financial articles before where they've said MONIES. Anyway, I think it's more so of a, crypto exchanges are basically banks at this point. They've had to get banking charters, banking documents, so and so, banking licenses. So I guess this is just the tie-in to it. So if you use Binance US, or this isn't paid advertising, it's not advertising of any sort actually. It's more of a, if you've been using Binance US, at least you know you're FDIC insured, and should things go haywire, you can still get your money back. Next up, Taiwanese electronics giant HTC has launched its new smartphone known as the Exodus 1S, okay, enabling users to run a full Bitcoin node on mobile, in line with the announcement on the in May 2019. I thought it said the 20th of May. HTC Exodus launched the Exodus 1 at the Lightning Conference in Berlin on October 19th and started selling the first devices during the event using the Lightning payment network, the firm said in a press release to Cointelegraph. The new Exodus 1S is a low-cost version, there we go, of the pioneering HTC blockchain-powered phone Exodus 1, which recently added support for Bcash, priced at €219, 233 US dollars. The new device is available to buy using Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, Binance Coin, and Bcash, apart from the featured buy, sell, send, receive, trade, and lend, and borrow options. HTC claims that the Exodus 1S is the first ever smartphone capable of running a full Bitcoin node. What are you lending and borrowing on their phone? That's kind of the interesting part to me. Without reading any further, or rather, you know what, for those interested, the product will initially be available in Europe, Taiwan, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, with other regions such as Taiwan, Switzerland, and Germany seeing launches at a later date. Kind of weird that they were selling it at an event in Germany and it's not even available in Germany. The point being, cool, kinda. I mentioned last year, I don't know if how many of you were here, about 4 or 5 companies at the end of last year decided to all launch their blockchain super mega awesome cool smartphones at the exact same time. What I noticed was that each phone was $699, $899, $1,200, so and so and so. And I was like, wait, no one buy these because I'm fairly certain that the prices are going to go down very, very quick. There was some other company, it's not HTC, someone else announced that they plan on launching, I think, 10 blockchain smartphones sometime next year. So expect a situation, especially for those of you who are wondering exactly what I'm talking about or what I'm aiming at. I watch documentaries about future technology a lot, not like robotics and parts and all this other stuff. It's more like as we see technology becoming cheaper, you may have noticed many years ago, phones were very expensive, and now you can get a relatively okay phone that lasts you for about a good 2-3.5 years for around $249, give or take, somewhere floating around there. So as time goes on, technology will only become cheaper. The phones that we have now are expected to, even at some point, only maybe sell for $100, $149 in stores. Especially with the people like to throw the word blockchain and all this other full node stuff like that into their, my opinion, it's marketing. They want to sell their phone with certain buzzwords, but eventually everyone's going to have phones like this. So if their phone is this price at this point, when they're one of the very few people out there who have phones like this, one can only assume, but in about a year and a half, there will definitely be phones for around $149 that are phones, take photos, take okay videos, and also run a full Bitcoin node. The point being, in the future, especially many companies out there, a lot of people aren't realizing that a lot of the companies and people who are Bitcoin permables, the people who already have tons of Bitcoin and are industry leaders, billionaires and stuff like that, they usually own or are shareholders in companies like HTC. Not saying that it's directly HTC, it's more of like a general, just so you kind of understand exactly what's going on. And they make sure that Bitcoin and blockchain technology and nodes and all this other stuff permeate, get out there. Everyone knows exactly what they are. In the future, everyone will be able to run or have the option to run a full Bitcoin node, an XRP node, an Ether node, a Litecoin node on their phone. We've seen other phones like this. What was the other one? The Pundi X phone, and there was some other coin that you've never heard of. They had released their coin phones, and they were also able to run full nodes on those as well. So in the future, as strong as the Bitcoin network is now, I'm probably, and I tell you this completely honestly, I'm probably not going to buy this one. I always wait 3 years for when something comes out. When something comes out, I wait about a good 2 or 3 years to see if they break, if they fall apart, if they work. If other people have complaints, I always like that waiting period, because I never want to be the first one. And then the next year, like a phone comes out for the third of the price, and I'm like, oh, I spent all that money on something that's already outdated. In the future, I think everyone will have gotten it together, if you kind of want to say that. I like the idea of multiple people around the world being able to, a full Bitcoin node is insane. I forgot, I think there are 20,000 for, no, I can't remember the exact number of full Bitcoin nodes actually running on the network right now. But imagine a world where Bitcoin's network is already strong and everyone's phone can then be run as a full node and not verify transactions, but just keep the network safe. And then 30, 40, 50 million people around the world actually have these phones as well. The point being, I guess trying to bring it on home, I don't know. I want to say something, but I don't want to say something because I don't want to tell people exactly what to do. However, I think it's cool that we have stuff like this. Expect next year to be an absolute avalanche of products like this rolling out. Hopefully in more places around the world, as opposed to just these right here. One can only assume that they can't fully roll it out everywhere because governments are afraid of anything techie and blockchainy. Anyway, let's move on. In really weird but not weird, unsurprisingly news, stablecoins pose a money laundering and terrorist financing risk to the world. This was said by the Financial Action Task Force on Friday. In documents released after its latest meeting, the intergovernmental organization referred to cryptocurrencies as a major strategic initiative and said cryptos were values whose values are pegged to fiat currencies could have a potentially big impact. Some representatives from 205 jurisdictions met from the 16th of October to the 18th of October to discuss various issues under the jurisdiction of the FATF led this year by China. According to the publication, crypto-related concerns were front and center, while the documents addressed cryptocurrencies broadly. It singled out stablecoins on multiple occasions, writing emerging assets such as so-called global stablecoins and their proposed global network. Global networks and platforms could potentially cause a shift in the virtual asset ecosystem and have implications of money laundering and terrorist finance. Isn't that terrible? That no matter what new technology comes out, the first thing that governments and institutions and whatever can think of talking about is how money will be moved around the world without them knowing about it, and it's always something about this. It's always terrorist financing. Not to get too far off topic, I'm not gonna even talk about it. That's an entirely different video because it's such a deep topic. For every time that something is to be feared, it's always the same exact thing over and over. They use these keywords to try and scare you, to make sure that you understand that it's something evil or terrible. But how many people in the world are actually using cryptocurrencies for illicit purposes? How many more people are using the US dollar as opposed to Bitcoin or even Monero or anything else? Just even mathematical wise, how many people on a larger scale? There are two concerns: mass market adoption of virtual assets and person-to-person transfers without the need for a regulated intermediary. Together, these changes could have serious consequences for our ability to detect and prevent money laundering and terrorist financing. End quote. While this may sound familiar, it's because it is. Because last week it was the Bank of International Settlements, the BIS, and the International Monetary Fund. I think one on Thursday and one on Tuesday both said that cryptocurrencies were a risk for money laundering. And then on Friday, the FATF said the exact same thing. The interesting part being that the Financial Action Task Force had been relatively lull on the entire cryptocurrency space for quite a long amount of time, and then they decided sometime during this year that they would be in control of the cryptocurrency exchanges around the world. And this is why you may have noticed, if you're going on to certain cryptocurrency exchanges, they want your phone number, they want your address, and maybe even your blood type. You think I'm joking, but this is how certain cryptocurrency exchanges around the world are operating, simply because, and it's funny how time flies. In 2017, we spoke about that this was all going to happen, that eventually governments, after saying that cryptocurrencies weren't a threat, would eventually realize that cryptocurrencies were a threat. Luckily for us, more people have gotten into the cryptocurrency space, and the networks and blockchains have only gotten stronger. So after the note of the Bank of International Settlements, the International Monetary Fund, and the Financial Action Task Force announcing that cryptocurrencies, especially stablecoins, were a global risk, Facebook is reportedly open to the idea of using national currency-pegged stablecoins for its forthcoming Libra project. According to Reuters, on the 20th of October, David Marcus, the head of the Libra project for Facebook and CEO of Facebook's wallet service, Calibra, said that the Libra token could use various fiat-based stablecoins instead of the initially proposed token. Okay, speaking at a banking seminar on Sunday, Marcus reportedly stated that the main goal of the project was to create a more efficient payment system and that it was not opposed to looking at alternative approaches. Marcus said, "We could do it differently. Instead of having a synthetic unit, we could have a series of stablecoins, a dollar stablecoin, a euro stablecoin, a sterling pound stablecoin, etc. We could definitely approach this with having a multitude of stablecoins that represent national currencies in a tokenized digital form. That is one of the options that should be considered." The originally proposed backing for Libra token was a basket of various national currencies, including the US dollar, euro, Japanese yen, British pound, and Singapore dollar. I forgot about that. That's fascinating. The original idea about Libra was that Libra was apparently not going to be pegged to anything. And then we had news that Libra was apparently going to be pegged to several currencies around the world. And this is when all the world leaders kind of completely lost their mind. It's all making sense in my head now. Remember when Libra announced all of this and everyone was like, no, you can't launch this solely. You guys can't do that. And then they announced which dollar money they were going to be pegged to for the Libra. And nearly all of those countries stopped complaining. It was mainly people within the Eurozone, the States, and the UK who were very against it. And the moment, it's making so much sense. The moment that Libra said, we're going to use the US dollar, euro, Japanese yen, British pound, and Singapore dollar to get the value of Libra, everything went kind of lull. You still have those politicians out there who are still screaming, not to say that they should not be screaming because it's Facebook trying to become the biggest bank in the entire world. However, it does make a bit more sense right now. The other secondary part is that I would not be shocked if from the get-go this had been the plan. We had news before that apparently from the very beginning, Facebook had wanted to use Bitcoin. Not too sure how truthful that is. Libra, in essence, is still at this point just a white paper. It's still an idea that's written on, not even paper, it's written online, digitally. Everyone can download it, look at it, read it. Cool, wonderful, amazing. It's still not an actual product. How unsurprised, is that water? Oh, it's construction. I'm like, I keep hearing this like rushing sound next to me and it's outside. How unsurprised would you be if from the get-go, Libra had initially just only, or rather the Calibra people had always just planned on launching Libra Fiat-backed stablecoins because they knew, because they even said before that they had been in talks with government leaders about a good year and some change ago before they even announced it. So one can only assume this was already smoothed over. Don't be shocked if this entire thing simply becomes a Libra dollar, Libra euro, and Libra pound, which to me, not that it makes more sense, it makes more sense governmental adoption wise. I feel like governments would be a lot more keen on saying yes if they could have individual talks with them and say, you know what, we'll just use your currency, but we'll call it Libra, which is even scarier because if it's created, I mean, by anyone, but if it's created by Facebook and they create a digital euro and the digital euro is then linked to the European Central Bank's computers and also to Facebook as well, every time, once again, you use the Libra, thinking that you're using it on your lonesome, the information is not only being saved by Facebook, but also being sent to governments. It's a very sticky, tricky situation. However, I thought that was funny that the largest monetary policymakers in the world are like, we don't like stablecoins. And the Facebook's like, we could use stablecoins. I think it's still going to launch. I think Libra's going to look very different by next year, simply because, I don't know, I think this was part of the plan from the get-go. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, the 18 millionth Bitcoin has been mined out of the 21 million Bitcoins that will ever be mined. It's cool. It's amazing. It was going to happen eventually. I guess the major takeaway point is that I think we are officially, 200 days, give or take about a couple of days on top or on bottom, a couple of days away from 200 days away from Bitcoin's reward being cut in half. I was looking at the robot and I was trying to figure out how it made sense. It doesn't. It's just Nakamoto's face, or the guy who we thought was Nakamoto 2 years ago as a robot. Anyway, yeah, this is cool, awesome. I'm more interested in the Bitcoin reward getting cut in half and all the predictions that we had around that time. So 18 million Bitcoin have now been mined. 6 million, as far as we know, have been lost and gone forever. There was also like, I don't have it in this video, there was also just like a lawsuit from some guy who lost like millions of dollars. He had his crypto on a phone that was linked to some phone company wherever he was living. I think they went bust. Something happened. And now he lost all of his money that was stored onto their systems or something, blah, 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 something according to that line. Anyway, so the idea is that there's not a lot of Bitcoin. I know I keep saying it, but it's true. And I don't think people really understand the number difference. We have 7.4 billion people in the world, 18 million Bitcoin, 6 million are lost and gone forever. We know of at least 10 companies who are holding anywhere from 2 to 7% of all the Bitcoin in the world. Even besides that, we know individuals who are holding 200, 300, 400,000 Bitcoin. You yourself out there probably have some Bitcoin. Keeping in mind, even if we just went from the 12 million Bitcoin circulating, let's go around a good 7 million Bitcoin circulating. There are still 7.4 billion people on this planet, and I don't think that's registered with people. It will one day. That's the scary part, and it's wonderfully scary if you kind of want to say it that way. A lot of people just simply don't get how scarce it actually is, but they'll learn one day. They will have no choice but to learn. On top of that as well, for those of you who do not know, Bitcoin and the wider cryptocurrency market are once again in green. Like the entire market's in green, except for I think the stable coins, which are going down because they're being sold off, and maybe one or the two random odd coins. For some reason, Bitcoin shot back up. No one seems to know why. This article has ideas as to what they think could have happened. It says Bitcoin's price support. Apparently, remember I kept on saying that we kept on doing, I had a feeling we were in another tight range simply because we kept on hitting the exact same numbers. Apparently, Bitcoin kept on hitting 7,800, somewhere around there, kept on bouncing off of it. Apparently, the going down lower was rejected and Bitcoin went back up. Cool, seems relatively logical. Where's the other part? It says the weekly relative strength index, or the RSI, isn't showing us much. However, the RSI on the daily chart is hinting that Bitcoin might be ready for a bullish reversal after it seemingly bottomed at 30.75 on the 19th of October and has started to regain an upward trajectory. Meaning, rather, I'm certain in my world that Bitcoin has been pushed down and has been oversold for quite a long amount of time. There's no reason why Bitcoin should be this low at all. And I know it sounds completely insane. Keep in mind scarcity, fundamentals, adoption, custody, how much is locked up. Like there's Bitcoin locked up in mountains. I can't make it any clearer. Bitcoin is incredible. Bitcoin should at least be anywhere from 15 to 18,000 just based off the amount of energy in the space. Not even actual usage as a daily currency, just amount of even looking towards the stars as far as the reward getting cut in half. That's going to, people don't understand. People aren't really getting it. Another indicator that is showing early signs of recovery on the Bitcoin daily chart is the moving average convergence divergence, or MACD, which today started to open up away from the signal line. The recent Bitcoin price action also has a dark green bar in the MACD histogram after 8 days of showing a bearish pattern. However, there are very early indications of a bullish reversal for Bitcoin as the weekly MACD is still bearish. No reason it should be. I think people make things negative and therefore things have to go down. Where's the other thing over here? That guy, Peter Schiff, right here, who believes that gold is better than every single cryptocurrency, that we should not have any digital money at all, and that people should still be accumulating and using gold in their everyday lives because we are still in the year 1744, has said that he thinks that Bitcoin is going to go back down to 2,000. What's great is, and thanks to the internet, we've seen thousands of other times before, for some reason, for Bitcoin not being that important, this guy looks at Bitcoin charts apparently every single day. Surprise, surprise. He's so obsessed with Bitcoin that he keeps giving Bitcoin price predictions and where he thinks Bitcoin's price is going to go. And can you guess what's happened just about every single time? I'll wait. That's right. They've all been wrong. Every single one of them. He's like, I want to say Jamie Dimon and a little bit of what's the old rich guy? The really old one. Warren Buffett. They're all so obsessed with this idea of Bitcoin, but they refuse to announce that they either have Bitcoin or that they think Bitcoin is actually good in some sort of way. So Peter Schiff aside, if Bitcoin goes down to 2,000, I would, first of all, I'd panic buy for my life, but it wouldn't last very long. Bitcoin's not going down to $2,000. This guy's no idea what he's talking about. The point being, people are trying to figure out why Bitcoin went up. I would assume it could be because of Fidelity launching officially and people being like, oh, wait, yeah, that finally happened. It could be the relatively new good sentiment from regulators behind Facebook and Libra. It could be that the 18 millionth Bitcoin has been mined. And before, when we were talking about the reward getting cut in half, it was around 440 days ago. We now have 200 days. It's not that far. Before you know it, this month is going to be over. This year is going to be over. And by the time we hit around February, everyone, the talk of the town will simply be Bitcoin's reward is going to get cut in half relatively soon. No one knows for certain. I assume by the end of this day, we will probably have some type of news, something talking about someone bought $100 million worth of Bitcoin. Something happened with so-and-so and so. This happened with this and that. No one knows, but we will know eventually. It usually takes about a week, if not less, to figure out why the markets are moving, however. Or rather, as always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohair Maroney, Master Ventures in Thailand, Brady Niels, Woody and Daisy, Triple M and J, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Mill Wheezy, Mechanic, Strange Radio Central, Crypto Artist, Cold D3D, Cryptopolis, Nicholas, Run Earth, One Piece, One Love, Damien, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Crypto Beer Shipmate, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day, Yes to Crypto, and Bodie McBoatface. Thank you very, very much for your support. If you're looking at the screen, a lot of coins are in the green. There's certain random ones that I think you should not be holding in the first place. They're in the red. But where is it? Yeah. Bitcoin's currently up by 3.6%. It's at $8,200. I'm not holding my breath. I'm waiting for an actual move. I don't think 3.6% is a move. While that may be significant in stock markets, we know how Bitcoin moves. We know what a good move for Bitcoin is. We know what a good day for the cryptocurrency market looks like. And I think it's okay. I think it's fine. You may also notice a lot of the coins are also in the red. There's some type of, I'm trying to, I keep noticing, or rather I'm coming to the conclusion. Nope, not going to say it. It's like my fourth time saying that this video. I still see heavy movement and trust behind coins that are going to fail. Things that are mimics of larger coins. I've seen the don't want to use the P word. I've seen a lot of movement the last couple of weeks about people talking about that same thing that we had before in 2014, 15, 16, and 17. That Bitcoin isn't the greatest coin. It's not going to make it. I forgot what I was reading a couple of days ago where they were like, my coin's going to win because I was the third coin forked off of Bitcoin, and therefore my coin and my so-and-so's. And I'm like, if you ever get into a situation where you are confused as to which Bitcoin to buy or to put your money in, never forget that whenever cryptocurrencies are being added to Fidelity or spoken about from NASDAQ or added to a futures platform or getting an ETF, getting an ETN, or getting an exchange traded product, which coin has hedge funds behind it, has pension funds behind it, it's 99.99% of the time Bitcoin, number one. So I think we could be at the beginning of what could be a nice upward swing to some extent. I think we will see 10,000 again relatively soon. I think it's absurd how low that Bitcoin currently is right now. But during that time, try to keep yourself level-headed because a lot of other things and people around there will try to get you to believe that you should be putting your money into other coins, especially when it comes to the long term. If you're here just to make a little quick profit, Bitcoin goes up by 2%, another coin goes up by 15%, and you're like, okay, I'm done. Who will go for it? Never forget, 99.9% of coins that we have out there are useless. The things that they have on them, the things that they can do, Bitcoin has the same exact system and maybe slower, but this is why we have side chains. Things can be upgraded. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all, every single one of you, once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.